talks were canceled between the NHLPA and the NHL owners or, commissioner. Both sides were meant to meet, and they ended up not meeting. Instead, what they did was the two top men from each side of the negotiations met. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman and Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly spent about 2 hours with Players Association Executive Director Donald Fair and his brother Steve Fair, the union's number 2 men. Now, the clock is ticking. The current agreement is set to expire September 15th, which is about 3.5 weeks from now. And the NHL says it will lock out the players if a new deal hasn't been reached. Now, the interesting thing, in my opinion, with this is that the 4 men sat down together, I believe, to try and set themselves up with a runway, a game plan for the meetings that are taking place today. Now, they did not suspend meetings because of issues or that they were mad at each other. I think the top 2 from each side just wanted to sit down and try and put a clearer path for where they're trying to go when they get everybody back together today. So, with that said, though, as it's being mentioned in the chat room, I think the real question is, can the NHL deal with another lockout? And as I can see in my chat room, nobody thinks it can. Eric mentions the NHL can't afford to miss another year. I'm confident the deal will get done. Jeremy mentions a lockout could be fatal. And Mike adds in that they won't recover from another work stoppage. And I can't argue with any of those statements. A lockout would kill the NHL. They were doing great. They have a lockout a couple years, I think it was like 2005 or something like that. They were locked out. They missed a season or about half. I'm sorry that I don't know the whole history behind this. I do know that the lockout that they had a couple years back really, really hurt the NHL. And what I really, really do know, is the fact that the playoffs that they had, 2005, yeah, I knew it was 2005. All right, see, I know more than I think I know. How about that? The 2005-2006 season was lost. It lasted almost 2 years, Mike believes. I'm not 100% sure either on that one. Now, Mike mentioned something very interesting in the chat room, and I think that it's something a lot of people that liked hockey would completely agree with. He says that I have some friends who are hardcore hockey fans before the first lockout who still have not come back to watching hockey. Now, I completely understand that, and that's not surprising at all to me, because when you watch a lockout from a fan's perspective, it's a load of crap, and it's that simple. We're sitting here as fans, most of us living day by day, barely managing to have money or manage to have bills paid, managing to keep a roof over your head. In this country nowadays, it is rough. In the world itself, it's rough. None of us want to sit here and watch billionaires tell millionaires they don't want to give them more money. Sorry, nobody wants to see it. Eric mentions in the chat room, hardcore fans will be there, but it will kill TV deals and the casual fan, which this sports need. NHL Stormzonian, I love it, Storms. NHL is getting back. It was big playoffs this year with the Devils Rangers playoffs games. This would really hit the NHL badly if there is a lockout, and that's perfect to say it just like that. You know what happened in this NHL playoffs that made things so good for the NHL? All the major markets were involved. All of them, okay? New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, Arizona, not Arizona. I'm sorry. But you guys know what I'm trying to say, okay? The major markets is specifically having a New Jersey team, so tri-state area, versus a Los Angeles team in the LA Kings. So you have both coasts covered and two of the biggest markets in the world, not just the country. San Jose, St. Louis. Some big markets had teams in the playoffs. So what's that do? The big markets watch. The bars fill up. The fans go to games. And what happens? TV companies notice. So TV companies want to put money in. Once money comes in, the league grows. It's not rocket science, okay? Now, I think the fact and the biggest issue, in my opinion, more than anything else, is the fact that you have to sit here as a fan and say, now I have to be worried about watching something that I got so into. You guys, a lot of our listeners that have been with us for a while have had an opportunity to watch us do, me and Joey, when we were doing the show, watch us do coverage for the NHL playoff games and how excited we got, and how much fun it was. The playoffs were freaking awesome. If you didn't get a chance to see the games, they were awesome. They play by golden goal in the playoffs. It was freaking awesome, dude. Eric mentions ESPN doesn't carry the NHL because of the last lockout. And if they can strike a good labor deal, maybe ESPN starts picking up some hockey games. Storms mentions in the chat room that he hates when the Devils play on some weird non-HD channel when they have the Rangers on 2 HD channels at the same time. Now, I get that. And really the issue is not really the Rangers being on 2 channels, but the Devils, one of the biggest teams in the NHL, is, not on an HD channel. Or the fact that you can't sit there and, they don't really offer an NHL package on DirecTV, which I'm sure they would do this year. But those are the things you're looking for, and you want to understand, and you want to watch, and you want to say, I would like to watch the Los Angeles Kings play hockey. They were a lot of freaking fun to watch, and I'm a Devils fan. I had to be upset about them knocking out my Devils. But it was fun to watch. They were an enjoyable team. Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Philadelphia Flyers. The in-state rivalry. The intensity of it. I mean, come on. Devils Rangers, the Hudson River battle, which is the only one we got left, people. The Nets are out of Jersey. Okay, they're in Brooklyn now, so we don't get the Nets-Knicks game anymore. No, we don't get that. All right, we get Devils Rangers. It's our only battle on the pond. That's it. Or across the pond, I guess you would say. But hockey itself, the owners, more than anybody, in my opinion, need to realize the impact a lockout will have on their league. They need to be willing to bend. They have to. They really, really have to. And I hope that they do. Now, I'm not saying ruin the game for it, but they have to be willing to bend. Eric mentions one of the big issues with the Devils is they don't sell out, and I agree, but it's hard to sell out long seasons, all right? The Knicks don't sell out every night. Most basketball teams don't sell out every night. Most baseball teams don't sell out every night. Most hockey teams don't sell out every night. It's a long season. All that matters, can you sell out when you get to the playoffs? Can you sell out when you have rivalry games? Can you sell out? They pretty much sell out when they play the Rangers. You know what I mean? Now, Jeremy mentions in our chat room that this is classic NHL. They have a perfect storm for publicity, and they stumble. That is a ridiculously great point. That is for sure. The NHL has an opportunity to grab the media and the fans by the cojones and say, follow us, watch us. It's a great sport. And it is. It's a non-stop action sport. Something is constantly happening on the ice. Constantly. And it's one of those games that the more you watch it, the more the game makes sense to you.